Hello and welcome to our meeting. It's approximately 5:30 in the afternoon. Lovely weather we have in Steve can't be here tonight, so we're going to kind of wing the minutes. I'm not good at this. That's why I have him do it. He was nice to me. He did short and sweet, and here's my world. In these, you'll find the purchases for the old flags and stuff like that, the holders, which we have. We have right here in front of me, the Revolutionary War, 1812, and which one's this one? World War II, 17.
First one, 17, 18, that's
Yeah.
That's
first one.
World War One? Okay. You guys know the dates better than I do. I just go wing it. So I guess it's here. We're all set there. Purchase has been made. Tracy, any update on the website?
All I have done was I put the minutes for the year so far.
Okay.
Each one has its own little link to the PDF file for the minutes. And when we approve the minutes tonight, I'll post that one as well.
Okay. And the October cleanup issues, you all know the rest of the story. We've gotten a few emails here and there. I enclosed what Steve sent me. I don't know. You guys should have gotten them as far as the Brackett Cemetery and stuff. It's not subsided, but it's quiet. So we'll leave it at quiet and see how it goes.
Fair enough.
Any other?
You're talking about the piece of land that is in dispute between the husband and wife?
Well, we'll go this way. So it's in dispute. Whether it's a husband and wife team, I'm not
Whatever.
100% certain, but yes. And then we're down to what we cleaned up with ashes. I'm assuming that's the same list that Steve has sent me. The same bottom page that you guys have. It gives the cleanup what we did, because we talked about if the Historical Society is actually going to help us do out like names of cemeteries, that it'd be nice to do the ones that we already did accomplish. That way we're not going backwards or going forwards. Obviously, we've got to go back and clean them periodically and keep up with it until we can find either somebody to adopt them, or if they're on somebody else's property, hopefully they'll step up to the list too. I mean, there's only 5 of us and we're pretty out straight most of the time. Is there any other old business that I missed or that he's missed that we should go over, or? Okay.
You guys renewed your board memberships, right?
On to new business.
Hey.
What?
I was asking you a question.
I didn't hear you.
Well,
You need to
pay
speak
attention.
up.
They heard me down in Sanford.
Well, I'm glad Sanford did. I didn't.
I didn't either.
You guys did renew your...
Yes, we
Your-
did.
Yes,
Okay.
after the
After
last
the
meeting.
last-
I saw I'm just going over the minutes right quick. Regards, request is, anybody in town needed firewood. That was nice that Steve was able to deliver some wood to some people that needed it.
Yep.
Jay, let me know when you're ready for some aluminum.
Yep.
If you're ready now, I have 2 bags of cans and bottles at my house that I'm getting ready to take to the recycling center, which, I would happily donate all of the aluminum to you.
No, I'll take them. I'll have the person in the garage crush them into little pieces so that we can melt them down.
Person in the garage. Is that the person in the garage?
There's a person in my garage, yes.
All right, I'll separate those. Like I said, I've got 2.
Yep.
I've got 2 body bags full of, returnables, but it's a mixture of plastic and cans, so I'll go ahead and sort the cans out and,
Jay, can you also take like the tin can, like a food can?
No,
Not
the
yet?
temperature to melt that's too
Okay.
high. It's got to be something soft like aluminum.
All right, I just double
Yep.
checked because we were into this recycling. We might as well check it all out versus not.
Yep.
Anything else for old business that we can think of?
It's just the minutes.
Okay. All right, on to new. When working, work permission slips, Steve and I had a bunch of those when we first started, between the 2 of us. I think he still has some. I don't know 110%. I haven't been able to contact him because he's in job training, so I will try to touch base with him again. That was back before you guys were even on board, because we were just the two of us, we were trying to see where to go.
I don't recall ever having to
No.
bring any documentation to the property owners.
And the only one that he has that he recalls right off the bat is the Watson one. And then we got verbal permission from a lot of the other ones, which, like I told him, verbal is nice, but we should start getting some of it in writing in case we do end up with conflicts like we have been having in some cases. Other than that, I know I spoke to the selectmen about that other issue, and they told me if that's the only issue we've had of all the ones we've cleaned and taken care of, that we've done well. So unless they're telling me to worry about it, then I'm not going to.
What?
What?
Nothing.
But that's about all I can tell you there. Winter activities. I was just talking to Jay before you all came in about possibly getting keys so we can actually get access here on the weekends. So if we want to do some mapping or indexing or making sure we're all on the same page come before May, spring, she said she has to go over that with the selectmen before I can officially get one. So I'm assuming Tuesday she's going to ask. I'm wrong to assume, but I'm figuring Tuesday.
That would sound like an excellent idea. We should be able to, you know, access the building and not have to worry about, you know, whether or not somebody's here to, you
Well,
know,
that's it.
let us in, or, you know, whether somebody's there.
And the workshops don't really have to be filmed because it's something we're just going to throw back and forth at each other, making sure that we have the correct information. I mean, if they feel they have to, that'll be up to them, but I don't think they have to because it's just throwing back and forth information, because some of this information we need to get done that I should have done personally myself several years ago, but it's hard. So Kenny Paul would have it down in his office, so when the sales of property become an issue, they'll know that there's a cemetery on their property, and what the footage should be and all that. I did give him back before you all came on, a copy of the rules that the state said, you know, the setbacks and all that stuff and what's supposed to happen. And he's been passing that on to the tax assessor in some cases because that's been a call at times, so.
Would we have access to the maps if we were to?
I would have to make arrangements with Kenny's office because the maps are downstairs, or unless we turn around and maybe I can get our own map.
That would be a thing that we probably need to try to do, is to get, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a huge map.
They got the little ones. The problem with the little ones, I find, is you can't define the two
Well,
little.
you know, you find a happy medium between this and this.
Well, I know at one time, and I'll have to recheck with Jen, I know at one time I could get the certain ones I can get for nothing, and I don't, whatever nothing is ones that-
Whatever, if we have to pay for one, that's fine.
No.
We have
Nothing
money.
is better. Nothing's
Yes,
always better.
free is nice, but, you know, if you need to pay for it, you need to pay for it.
Yeah, but
So-
I guess she has it that you can, as long as it's a simple, not colored, not, you know, as long as it's simple. She got me two a few years back, but we've since misplaced one, so we'll go that way.
What's this "we"?
Myself and Steve.
Okay.
You guys weren't on
Just
board
checking,
for
you
everything.
know,
My mouse in my back
We know
pocket.
the-
She said "we," you know, and I'm,
We
I'm,
know the-
My mouse
I'm,
in
you
my
know,
back pocket.
I don't know if we need
But
to
that's
check
what I
the
was looking
pockets or
forward
not.
for winter activities. I don't know if you guys want to,
Weather permitting.
okay, that was the other thing.
Just about everything is going to be weather permitting.
The other thing is that, I forgot to tell Steve, and I'll tell you guys, we have to have our budget before February 1st. In other words, just like last year, you gotta know what we want and bring it forward and blah, 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 blah.
So then we would have to do that on a weekend,
yeah.
preferably a weekend when we can sit and brainstorm.
Well, unless you want to have a meeting next month, and I don't know what your
Well, that was
thoughts
kinda
are as
it.
far
The
as
meeting
a
that-
meeting.
I have no
Yeah.
set plans for,
See, anything else we need to talk about, discuss, think about that we missed? Because I know we do this. I do it. After I'm done here, I go home and go, shoot, should've done that.
gotta write it down.
Yeah, well, doesn't always work that way, and I'm not good, as you can tell, I'm not really good with this stuff. That's why Steve made sure I get it
We
written
need to get her
down.
one of those voice-activated things so she can talk at it.
I have one.
Talk at
She'll
it.
forget to turn it on.
Yeah, probably. It ain't Densey for nothing. I was just looking to see what next month's was. If we had a meeting next month, it would be the same week as Christmas.
Be after Christmas.
No, the Christmas is the 25th.
Is-
The last
Oh, wait a
Thursday,
minute.
It's always
the
been
last
25th.
Thursday of
Which
the
is-
month is the 27th.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that falls during my physical inventory at work, so I would not be able to make that date.
And then if we go to January, the last Thursday is the 31st.
No, we don't want to wait that long.
Because then we're in the middle of budget.
Well, not if
No,
February 1st.
I think we want to meet either sooner in December, in other words, before the holidays,
Okay, if that's the case.
sometime around the 15th.
You would want either the 6th, the 13th, or the 20th.
13th sounds good.
The 6th, the 13th, or the 20th.
Sound not so good. Is that what date is that?
These are all Thursdays.
Can't make that one,
The 13th?
yeah.
Okay. What about the 20th?
Do the 20th.
I don't have a problem with the 20th. I got nothing going on.
Hopefully Steve will be able to make it. We'll pass the word along and,
Between now and the 20th, everybody needs to decide what we might want to try to buy.
Yep.
In other words, a couple of lawnmowers maybe, or maybe one lawnmower. We have one,
We
right?
have one.
All right, we have one, so one more, a couple of weed whackers, possibly some hand tools
I'm
such
gonna
as...
throw a monkey wrench in this too, because
Yeah,
we
we
were
gotta
talking.
get a couple pitchforks or something. When we cleaned up over here, some of the equipment that fella had brought was more useful than what we
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
If we're throwing away stuff.
But, I mean, as far as, we need to, collectively, individually, so that we can collectively decide
Yep.
what things we would like to purchase, so that we can do that, and make it an input to our upcoming budget. Okay? I think we need
I have to check
another,
with Michelle, because I can't remember, or we check with Steve also, because he actually did our budget. I asked Jen, and she wasn't sure, she told me, that's why I said I had to recheck with Michelle. I can't remember if we got a form, like everybody else did last year, or if we did it, we had to just put in a request. In other words, to whom it may concern, blah, 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 here's our
Yeah.
request. I have to find that out from Michelle, because that's what I was told to do, or ask Steve if he could remember, so. And on top of all that, we were talking, Steve and I, back before you all joined,
oh, God.
that we would like to do some more veterans stones, kind of like the Watsons. Pick somebody, one or two a year, especially the ones that are field stones that we can't read, or that one individual and that we can't read. That
Right,
one might have to be laid off for a little bit longer, but.
I understand that it is very difficult now. It's not as easy as it was.
Right, it wasn't even easy back when I was doing it. When I tried to apply for it, I was beating my head against the wall, and that was 15 years ago. And then, the gentleman in Shapley told me there's a way to do it, but I haven't had time to see Mr. Evad about that either.
So the one you're referring to is the one at the Brackett Cemetery.
That one, and we've got
It's
two.
the very same cemetery where we've been having some.
And we've got two.
Scuttlebutt.
We've got two herds also, Daniel and John, begins with a J. Anyway, they're in the same one also, they're in it together, and both of them have field stones. We thought we could do a double whammy. In other words, like they do in the military, you put the husband on one side and the wife on the other. And that, because they're all field stones, we just know where they're laid and what their rank is. And the same way with the other husband and wife. Jethro, there we go. Because they were both also, they're brothers. They're buried together over behind Mark and Sue Herds. And they're field stones. And I'd like, something along that lines. I'm not saying all the work has to be done down here south. It can be done in north. This was
Wherever
just,
the need is.
this is just kind of a couple things. Myself personally, I'd love to get all the field stones done, so we know that they're accomplished, but that's just a goal of, here we go, here it is. But I also don't know, and this is something somebody else might know, is the cemeteries that we cleaned up, like in the last one, if there's others that we should do before we come forward. You know what I'm saying? Like you did the other Brackett Cemetery down below. Are they,
Above.
well, I consider it down below, but there could be more in there. I mean, I know there's at least 2.
There are 2, yes, but their stones are fine.
Okay, because you know what covered them is
Read theirs
stuff.
perfectly. But I think it would probably be easier to do the bracket one because we do have some lettering there. So we know that that person is there.
And going-
It's the field stones that you're going to have more of a
Right.
difficulty with because
Well, there is some
except for
history.
exhuming them, you're not going to know that they're there, and even if there is someone there, that is,
Well, we have some history on that, so it's not too bad, because it states in some, the unfortunate part about it is that they don't take genealogy. And that's where a lot of our information comes, is genealogy.
when
I
you
mean,
talk
I
Red
wasn't,
War.
yeah, I wasn't around during there, so I can't vote for one or the other.
Photographs,
No.
you know, which makes it even more difficult.
Right.
If you had a photograph of a Civil War soldier and documentation, at least there's your proof, whereas
Yeah,
you get a field stone and someone says, oh yeah, that was so-and-so's great-great-great-great-grandfather who was in the Rev War.
and that's it, and that's kind of where it's coming from, because actually that's mine. So that's kind of where, and that's kind of what we've always been led to, and then, of course, I told you, we've got the books that we go by over at the Historical Society. So, I mean, I don't know how that plays in. I guess we have to reach out to Mr. Evad and find out.
Yes. And I think that he had given the criteria to Steve,
Yeah, I think so, a couple of years back,
Yes.
if not prior to.
something we should review at our workshop.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'd like to.
December 20th, we said for the
December
next
Yes.
Yes.
meeting?
5:30 still works for everybody, right?
Works fine.
Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure, and we're still on the same,
And what I'll do is I'll order, within this week to next, I'll order some foundry sand, a small container of it, to make one sample. And I'll try to make one, because if it turns out good and we're happy with it, that I can bring it to the next meeting to show you. Then we can put that as part of our budget of getting some more foundry sand, so we can
Right.
try to pump some of these out and have them in stock.
yeah, because it'd be kind of nice to be, well, not that I want to put any more on to you, Jay, because you do a lot as it is. It'd be kind of nice to have them, so that way we
But
do
we'll be able to
save
make
on
them
it.
as we need. and
Yeah.
We'll put them in stock.
Because obviously, there are different weights and measures and different costs for each of them. And some are more,
Well, if they're
Better
all
than
made out
others.
of aluminum,
That's my
you know,
point. We'll make them
Yeah.
all out
then,
of
you know,
aluminum.
the
casting-
cost will be negligible,
Yeah. Keep
you know,
drinking
other
soda.
than, you know, exactly.
Hmm.
So, make sure you
did you
keep
want
a
to,
receipt for your
Yep.
foundry sand, and we can turn that in, you know, any cost incurred must be repaid.
I won't know until, obviously, the next selectmen's meeting, whether I'm going to get keys or not. So I'm going to have to wait and postpone that. Do you want to schedule it before our next meeting or after our next meeting, as far as a work meeting would go? Probably in January? January? If weather, weather pending.
Always weather permitting, yes.
I don't
But
want-
if you have the key,
Well, we should be able to make that decision,
Once I have that in my hand.
we should be able to make that decision
On the
at our
20th.
December 20th meeting.
that's what I was
We'll have a
thinking.
workshop, January,
yeah, yep,
whatever.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what I
so,
was thinking.
all right,
That works
any other
for me.
business?
Hey,
I'm asking a question.
behave yourself. I have to live with you.
No, you don't.
That, I guess, we got our next meeting scheduled.
That was the
We've
last
got
item.
the time schedule. Hopefully, like I said, Steve can make it. Hopefully, his job goes well for him. We know what we kind of want to do. I guess we'll look for a motion.
And like I said, everybody should, you know, consider what things that we might want to, you know, purchase, you know, like I
Yep.
said, lawnmower, weed whacker, maybe some, at least a handsaw.
I was gonna say, why don't everybody just get a list of what they're
That's
saying?
what I'm trying to discuss.
Do we have a list of the inventory we
Yeah.
currently have?
Yeah, we don't have much.
Not really. And whatever we
don't
have,
own anything but a lawnmower. Steve and I have been doing our own brakes and,
Yeah, well, so if we
Weed
keep
whackers.
buying new ones as we break them.
yeah, that's all, we've been doing our own
well, we'll put
stuff.
together, each
Yep.
one of us can put together a list, and then at the next meeting, we can go,
Yeah.
I got this on my list. Do you have that on your list? Yes, you do. Cross it off.
Hmm.
You? No? You didn't have it? Okay.
Do you all, Roland, while you're
What?
saying that, do you actually want costs behind that too at the same time? That would just save us an extra step?
If you can find the cost.
If you can find costs,
Right now,
I mean,
it's all
depends.
Christmas stuff.
I know a lot of the stuff they order from here actually
I
comes
don't
out of
plan on ordering
Springvale.
anything from them.
It has to.
No,
It's
I
the only way-
don't.
It's the only way it comes out, it either comes out of Springvale or it comes out of Home Depot.
Yep.
So that's,
You mean
not,
Lowe's?
I mean Lowe's, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's easy enough to go online and get a
Yeah.
price for something.
In any case, we can put together a list of wanted items and, approximate costs of the items, and then we can go, okay, guys, this is what we want to buy. Okay? Motion to adjourn.
Hear a motion, is there a second?
Second it?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Guess we're done. We're all set?
Thank you.